Okay. The COVID-19 pandemic, however, is a crisis of a completely different magnitude, and that will require a response of unprecedented scale. Being in the corona war, the policymakers around the world are engaged in damage control of the economic losses at the moment and preparing their businesses or industries confronting the upcoming economic downturn. If we turn around our eyes to the industrial sector of Bangladesh, which is also suffering from this deadly contagious disease, as we all know that export diversification is a key tool to achieve sustainable economic growth. But unfortunately, we are heavily relying on ready-made garments sector. And the 83% of our country's export earnings come from ready-made garments sector. Now it is high time for the government and the think tanks, the policymakers, as well as the business enterprises to assess the present situations, to scrutinize the present scenario, and to check out the strategies to control the damages of this pandemic and successfully diversify the country's export portfolios. However, this is Muhammad Nazmus Saki, and I would like to give thanks our honorable course instructor, Dr. Muhammad Misbauddin sir, to assign such a distinct and on-demand topics to think about the country's leather, jute, sugar, and tea sector in the light of the present scenario and map out strategies to revive this sector, which eventually help the policymaker to successfully diversify our export basket. First of all, I would like to concentrate on leather sector and its present conditions and the strategies which are intended to revive the leather sector and as well as the implementation plan. Due to the ongoing corona pandemic, leather exports has declined 22% in the just concluded fiscal year of 2020. According to the manufacturers of the leather goods industry, this industry has been severely impacted by the slump in sales of home and abroad, and that is brought the crisis of this industry. So this sector should focus on differentiation strategy while concentrating on quality as reliability for building block of their competitive advantages. And to achieve the reliability in the international market, the tanneries will have to produce their goods at eco-friendly factories with complete effluent treatment plan and with proper maintenance of safety and health standards. If the tanneries can produce with proper maintenance of safety and health standard, then they can sell their products in the international market 40% more than present prices. So the authority should should advance similar facilities uh, as the garment sector gets from the government, like it may be cash incentives and tax breaks on imports and exports, VAT, and bonded warehouse facilities. And besides all these facilities, the modern leather industrial estate in Savur, we know that the government has already planned and successfully changed the tanneries from Tisgaon to Savur. And beside this modern industrial leather estate, the government should need to focus on or immediately set up at least two other such kind of modern leather factory, modern leather park in order to get rid from the mismanagement of collecting raw hides during the Idul Adha period. So, besides with the establishing of modern industrial leather parks, having modern and updated hydraulic and pneumatic machineries, with increasing the capacity of the cluster, it is possible to earn 10 billion by 2025, which is only 1.2 billion has been 2 billion, 1.2 billion had earned in the last year. So, and this is the time to think about the jute sector of Bangladesh. We know jute is one of the major cash crops of Bangladesh, and due to the increased mismanagement and unprecedented economic losses, the government has recently closed 25 state-owned jute mills amid this pandemic. While globally, jute is now one of the most important and demanding nature of fibers because of its qualities or characteristics and features of biodegradable and impostable features. So, and Bangladesh obviously produce the finest qualities of jute fibers. So, being as the eco-friendly as the jute is the eco-friendly product and the potential, so and Bangladesh can produce the finest quality of jute fibers. So, the potential of jute, the potential of Bangladeshi jute is increasing in the global market day by day. So, the government should formulate some strategies, and the strategies must need to be formulated to capture the increased global demand of jute and jute-centric products in the global market. And the strategies which need to be implemented, that is, extended support is needed with initiating cost-cutting measures, labor and capital productivity should increase through rationalization of current operational requirements with the capacity uh, with the capacity utilizations of the factories. And uh, we know in the time of slack of global demand, domestic market could be buffer. Uh, so, so the government should think the policies to encourage the domestic uses of such jute-centric products. Besides, the government should review the current jute policies with proper guidelines for a realistic plan of short-term, mid-term, and long-term action plan. And further, there should be established an independent jute board, and that can and the independent jute board will recommend the responsibilities of major stakeholder groups, and the board will recommend the on-demand policies for higher domestic uh, jute products, uh, and they recommend the policies to the stakeholder of the jute, and the policies will be vary from time to time. Last but not the least, establishment of college for jute technology and proactive and collaborative global market search will change the face of this industry. Okay, now it is time for sugar industry. We know that sugar is an essential food commodity with universal demand. Local productions of our sugar industry can meet up only 14% of annual requirements of domestic consumptions. Uh, Thus, this sector is an obviously this sector is also an uncomfortable situation due to the coronavirus pandemic with its decreasing pattern of export earnings, and we know that domestic consumption is increasing and the entire domestic consumption sometimes is depending on imports. So the strategies should need to be adopted to encourage the growers to grow more sugarcane for sugar mills. And at the same time, the sugar mills will need to ensure the sugarcane producers, their good profit and profit margins and fair prices of the raw materials. And the another strategy will also need to be implemented, that is advisory or uh, consultancy based services should need to be advanced for goods agricultural products, and that should be made available to the sugarcane producers or growers. And the strategies need to implement, that is cost reduction strategy, and the reduction strategy can be achieved through personnel optimizations, and this personnel optimization should need to be ensured with sugar production's capacity with the quality sugar cane. And finally, the byproducts of sugar, that is, we know baggage and molasses, and these two items, baggage and molasses, the byproducts of sugar industry should need to be creatively and innovatively utilized to change the facet of this industry. And I'm sure that you have been bored to hear such negative and depression, sad news about that is the impacted from the pandemic COVID-19. And if yes, then I have a good news for you. That is the tea. Uh, the tea sector of Bangladesh, and the tea basically is ranked 8 among the assisting products that have maintained positive export trends amid the coronavirus pandemic. So the local this is basically the local demand of tea is increasing, and people prefer tea as healthier beverage than others. And in the wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, an awareness was built up among the people about the health uh, and hygiene benefits of taking tea. Furthermore, a huge demand of Bangladeshi teas have been created in different countries. This is because we are producing quality teas, and this demand is also creating across the globe amid the coronavirus outbreaks, because there is growing concern about the health awareness, and taking teas they basically think which is more preferable than other type of beverages. So as a result, the export and local consumptions has increased simultaneously. So the demand of our tea is basically increasing during the coronavirus pandemic. However, to revitalize this sector further, superior efficiency, we know that superior efficiency is one of the four building blocks of competitive advantages. But to revitalize this sector of tea, superior efficiency should need to be ensured, which can be achieved. This superior efficiency can be achieved through modern and artificial irrigation system, setting up water reservoir and water embankment for irrigation during the crisis period. This is because water reservoir and irrigations, embankment for irrigations will need to be set up. This is because to gate the water during the crisis period. And besides setting water reservoir and embankment of irrigations, the focus should be need to be given for utilizations of labor, capital, and cultivable land productivity. Oh, and finally, the marketing and promotional activities or promotional programs, initiatives also need to be revised to successfully make known the people about green tea, ginger tea, or tulsi tea. We know that in our small towns, people are heavily habituated to take general tea, but it should be the responsibilities to the concerned authorities to revise their marketing and promotional plans, so that people, it can be possible to make known the people about green tea, ginger tea, and tulsi tea. And the policies need to be designed in such a way so that people can feel encouraged to take such kind of teas. And finally, the government should also demotivate the impact of low price. The government should also need to demotivate the import of low price tea by imposing extra duties on importing tea from foreign countries. Okay, we are at the finishing line together. We will win, and if we can actively manage all these strategies to revive these businesses, particularly the leather, jute, sugar, and tea industries, with obviously our export buffer RMG sector, then Bangladesh will truly be the tiger. Bangladesh will truly be the tiger of Asia, and actively announce its dominant position in the global, fiercely and competitive market. So that's all about from me. Thank you so much for your valuable time, and I am wishing you a sound health amid the pandemic. Thank you so much.